Welcome to Law Made Simple. Today, we're diving into a topic that's often ignored, misunderstood, or brushed aside. Are Indian husbands truly innocent until proven guilty? Or does the law presume guilt the moment a marriage begins to break down? This episode isn't about denying women's struggles. It's about exposing the silent suffering of innocent men caught in a system that often overlooks their side. We'll explore real cases, legal gaps, and preventive advice that every man should know. Because justice must be equal, not selective. Husbands are often punished before any trial begins. Their families are dragged into furs. Their careers collapse. Their mental health deteriorates. And society rarely asks questions. The sacred bond of marriage turns into a battlefield. Legal literacy is no longer optional, it's survival. We're not here to provoke conflict. We're here to provoke thought. Stay with us till the end, and share this with someone who needs it. Let's make law truly simple and truly fair. Like, share, and subscribe to Law Made Simple. Let's understand the legal framework that shapes this reality. Section 498A of the Indian Penal Code, 1860, and the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act, 2005, were created to protect women from cruelty. But these laws allow arrest without investigation, and FIRs often include the husband's entire family. Bail is difficult, and trials drag on for years. Even if the husband is innocent, the damage, emotional, financial, and reputational, is already done. The law presumes cruelty without proof, and there's no equivalent protection for men. Courts have flagged misuse, but reforms remain slow. In many cases, even elderly parents and unmarried siblings are named. The stigma begins with the FIR and doesn't end with acquittal. Legal literacy among men is dangerously low, and the system rarely offers second chances. Husbands are left navigating a maze of accusations with no roadmap. The presumption of guilt becomes a punishment in itself. And the burden of proof falls not on the accuser, but on the accused. Justice must be gender-neutral, or it's not justice at all. Let's look at a tragic real-world example. Atul Subhash, a Bengaluru techie, died by suicide after facing charges under IPC Sections 498A, 377, and 302. His wife demanded 3 Indian rupees crore in settlement, despite him already paying 40,000 Indian rupees per month in support. She further demanded 2 Indian rupees lakh monthly for the child. His employer suspended him, his parents were named in the FIR, and his social circle vanished. All this happened before the trial even began. He was presumed guilty by law and society. This isn't justice. It's a systemic failure that punishes silence and overlooks truth. Atul's story is not isolated. Thousands of men face similar trauma. The legal system offers no emotional support, and society rarely questions the narrative. His death wasn't just personal, it was institutional. The pressure to settle, the fear of arrest, the collapse of dignity, all of it adds up. We must ask, how many more tools before reform begins? How many families must collapse before we recognize the imbalance? And how long will we ignore the cost of false accusations? Why does the law feel one-sided? Historically, women were more vulnerable, and laws were rightly designed to protect them. But today, misuse is a growing concern. In Rajesh Sharma v. State of UP, 2017, the Supreme Court acknowledged the misuse of Section 498A. Yet, there's no law to protect innocent husbands, no fast-track relief, no compensation for false cases, and no mental health support. The system punishes silence and rewards manipulation. Laws must evolve with society. Gender-neutral justice isn't revenge, it's reform. Even when courts quash false FIRs, the damage is irreversible. Careers don't recover. Families remain fractured. And men are left with scars that no verdict can erase. Reform isn't optional, it's urgent. Equality in law must mean equality in protection. Otherwise, justice becomes a privilege, not a right. And silence becomes a sentence. Marriage is meant to be sacred, a bond of trust and partnership. But when expectations clash and communication breaks down, it can turn toxic. Husbands often miss early warning signs like emotional withdrawal, financial control, threats of legal action, and sudden isolation from family. Demands for property or money may follow. These aren't just mood swings, they're red flags. Most men dismiss them as temporary stress until they're facing an FIR. Awareness is protection. Silence is risk. Prevention is power. A sacred relationship can turn into a legal disaster overnight. The signs are subtle, but they're there. And ignoring them can cost everything. Recognizing patterns early is not paranoia, it's survival. Emotional intelligence is a legal shield. And silence is not strength, it's surrender. If you feel trapped, don't wait for the explosion, act on the tremors. Prevention is better than litigation. Husbands must stay alert and informed. Keep records of financial transactions and document major decisions. Avoid verbal fights. Use written communication. Never sign blank checks or property papers under pressure. Involve neutral third parties in disputes and seek counseling early. Watch for sudden behavioral shifts and build a support system. Know your legal rights and consult a lawyer before reacting. Protect yourself legally and emotionally. Don't wait for the first FIR to take action. Prevention starts with awareness. Even small steps, like saving messages or recording expenses, can make a huge difference. Legal literacy is not optional anymore. It's your shield. And silence is not a strategy, it's a trap. Self-protection is not selfish, it's survival. And survival begins with knowledge. So who's to blame for this imbalance? The law? Society? Misuse? It's not about blaming women. It's about fixing the system. Laws must protect the vulnerable, but also punish false accusations. Society must stop shaming men who speak up. Media must show both sides of the story. Families must support their sons, and men must learn to speak. Silence is not strength. Reform is not revenge, it's justice. False cases must carry consequences. Male victims must be heard. And the narrative must shift from shame to support. Legal literacy must begin at home. Because justice isn't just about courts, it's about culture. We need to stop treating male suffering as weakness. We need to stop assuming guilt based on gender. The law must evolve, and so must our mindset. If we want fairness, we must demand it for everyone. Reform is not anti-women, it's pro-justice. And justice must be blind to bias. Indian husbands deserve fairness, not blind punishment, not legal trauma, and not social exile. The law must evolve, society must listen, and men must speak. Because silence helps no one. If you're facing such issues, seek help legal, emotional, and social. Share this video with someone who needs it. Let's build awareness. Let's demand reform. Let's make law truly simple and truly fair. Every voice matters, and every story deserves to be heard. Legal literacy is not just for lawyers, it's for every citizen. Reform begins with recognition. Protection must be equal, and justice must be balanced. We must stop treating men's suffering as invisible. We must stop confusing silence with guilt. Let's stand up for truth, not just tradition. Let's protect the innocent, regardless of gender. Thank you for watching. This is Law Made Simple, your companion for clarity, justice, and empowerment. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Law Made Simple. Your support helps us reach those who need it most. Together, we can rewrite the narrative one informed voice at a time.